Please tell us something about the path of Kriya Yoga and why it is for some special people only.
So, before we go into Kriya, we are already in Kriya. The pranayams that you're learning are Kriyas in a certain way. Fundamentally, Kriya means internal action. Karma means external action. If you do external activity, we call it karma. If you do internal activity, we call it Kriya. In a way, both are certain kind of karmas or both are certain kind of kriyas. But traditionally, or in general sense of the term, it is understood like this: karmas are those which bind you, kriyas are those which release you. But not essentially so. Yes, in general experience it is so, but not essentially so. Even karmas can be releasing, even kriyas can be binding too. Right now I am doing kriyas of bondage to somehow bind myself. So, to do Kriya Yoga, what's needed? First of all, what's Kriya Yoga? Kriya Yoga is most dear to my heart, not because it's the best yoga, it's simply because that's the path that I took in my sadhana. That's been my growth and evolution. It is a very powerful way to walk the spiritual path, but at the same time, it's a very demanding way. For a today, modern educated person, Kriya Yoga will be inhuman because it needs that kind of discipline, a certain exactness about everything. People who are loose. Today, freedom talk everywhere. Am I not free to do this? Am I not free to do that? Can't I eat this? Can't I do this? Can't I sleep here? Can't I sleep there? With these kind of people, you can't do Kriya Yoga. If you take somebody into the path of Kriya, if I tell you, don't use the pillow today your leg should be up and head down, that's how you should sleep, without asking questions, because all of it can never be explained. You may understand as you go, but it can never be explained. And if it has to be explained, the essence of the Kriya will be lost. If I tell you, next 7 days, just go out, break the anthill and eat the mud from the anthill for next 7 days, without question you must be just eating it joyously. Otherwise, Kriya Yoga will become difficult. If people sit here and start asking stupid logical questions for everything, then Kriyas cannot be imparted. If you want to teach you Kriyas just as practices, I can teach it or I can write a book about it, you can read it and learn it. But if you want the Kriya to be a live process, if you want the Kriya to be imprinted into your system in a certain way, then it needs a certain discipline, it needs a certain dedication, it needs a certain amount of trust to open up your energies to the other person so that you become absolutely vulnerable. He may do anything with you. And initially you'll start wondering what the hell he's doing with you, because initial stages of Kriyas, as you progress, can be such that you don't know whether you're getting enlightened or you're going mad. You must have enough trust to sustain through those periods, otherwise Kriya will be difficult. So generally on the path of Kriya, most gurus make the disciples wait. Waiting is the best way. You come, you want to learn Kriya Yoga? Okay, sweep the floor. No, I want to learn Kriya Yoga. That's why I said sweep the floor. 1 year of sweeping the floor you did, and you said I did 1 year of sweeping the floor. Oh, you're done with 1 year of sweeping the floor? Wash the dishes. Just make him wait. And still, his trust doesn't shake. When he comes to this, then he can be initiated into Kriyas. Otherwise, once you power his system in a certain way, that his system is vibrant beyond normal standards of vibrance of life, if his attitudes and emotions are not proper, he will cause immense damage to himself. But today's world, to get that kind of time with people, to make them wait and go through all this and then they come to that kind of trust and then imprinting this is not impossible, but it's little remote in the modern world. We went into very intense Kriyas for a short period of time when we were doing the wholeness program for 90 days. So those 50 and odd people or 60 people who were there, we didn't really insist that they must continue their Kriyas after that. We wanted to just give them a taste of Kriya for a short span of time, because at that time the objective was fundamentally the consecration. But those few people who experienced this Kriyas are still in many ways the foundation of Isha Foundation. They are the people who stood through all kinds of times, highs and lows, and did what had to be done and kept it going, always. Simply because they saw and understood spirituality in a completely different way. Not as talk, not as this or that, in a completely different way which is indescribable. So Kriyas have that dimension. See, whatever we do with your body is well today, it says fine what you're doing, asanas, I like it. Tomorrow morning your body is stiff and you hate it. Whatever we do with your attitudes, your emotions and your thought, today your thought will go this way, tomorrow another person comes and influences, it'll go another way. Your emotions are not at all reliable. Any moment it'll shift from this to that. But your energies are different. Once we start working with the energy in a certain way, it has a different kind of depth to life. It has a different dimension to every aspect of your life suddenly, because your energies have been touched and activated in a completely different way. If you are willing, Jnana Lingam is a storehouse of Kriyas. Somewhere after 1,000 years, if somebody wants to learn Kriyas, if all Kriya Yoga is dead in the world, if somebody wants to learn Kriya Yoga, if somebody is truly open to the energies of the Linga, Kriyas will just happen in your system. It's not that only after 1,000 years, even today, it's very much open. It's a storehouse of Kriyas in a certain way, because it's been built with Kriyas. The way it's constructed is written down into the energy there. If you experience it, you can experience the very way it was consecrated. The way it was consecrated is in such absurd ways it was done. Probably never before those kind of methods have ever been employed. One can experience every step of consecration, it's wide open, it's not a secret, it's always there. But it's only for somebody who's willing to open his energies up, willing to be vulnerable, so that something else can take him. Maybe when I get tired of talking after some time, maybe we will just do Kriya. Then if I teach Kriyas, this many people will not be sitting here, just a handful will be sitting here. Not because those handful are special, because most people don't have a body or a mind or a stability of emotion to take care of Kriyas. People don't have those kind of bodies anymore. Very few people have, because right from childhood, people are in too much comfort. Comfort means not physical comfort. See, now you sit in a comfortable chair or a comfortable seat. This is not an obstruction, but your whole being is seeking comfort always. That's a great obstruction. Now you're sitting on something which is comfortable, you enjoy it, there's no problem about it. But if you're constantly seeking comfort, then that kind of mind, that kind of emotion is unsuitable for Kriyas or that kind of path. So to pursue Kriya Yoga, do you have to be special? If I want to go to the mountains, I won't take somebody who's good with accounts. Similarly, if we want to do Kriya Yoga, we won't choose somebody who does not have the right kind of body for that. This does not mean they're special people. It is just that they are capable in a certain way. They can do certain things better than other people. They have certain strength that they can withstand certain sadhanas which are very intense. And if these kind of sadhanas are introduced into another kind of body, it'll break up. If it is introduced into another person who is not ready for it, psychologically, it can crack him up. If it doesn't have the stability and dedication to pursue it in a particular way, the way it is given, it can cause immense damage. Kriya Yoga is important only if you're wanting to do things beyond realization. If your interest is only to somehow break this prison and get away, you just want to escape from the prison, you just want enlightenment, you just want liberation or mukti, then you don't really have to walk Kriyas, because Kriyas are so elaborate, involve so much discipline, so much, focus is needed. Kriya is very important for a person who wants to stay beyond his realization and wants to do something with the world. But if he just wants to escape, if he just wants to be liberated, he just wants to break his present imprisonment, then Kriyas can be used in a small way, it need not be too intense. We can use other ways, as we are doing now with Sahasrara Yoga and others, a complex mixture of everything which is much simpler for realization. But a Kriya Yogi, including myself, would consider actually This has been there in the yogic lore. It's a certain, what to say, it's not a certain ego, it's more like a certain pride of their path. Kriya yogis consider all other paths as women's paths because Kriya people are, they're gutty people. Other paths, okay, somehow they'll find a way out, all right. That's not it. We want to find a way out this way, our way. We don't want to somehow escape. We want to find it this way. So Kriya yogis have a certain disdain for other paths. And of course, other path people have disdain for every other path. It's mutual. People who have come upon Kriya have a completely different kind of presence about them. Because of the mastery over their energies, they can dismantle life and put it back together. But if you're just pursuing other ways like either Bhakti or Jnana, you have realization, you have intelligence. If you're on Jnana, you're razor sharp. You can do many things with your mind, but still there is nothing much you can do with your energy. If you're on Bhakti, there is nothing you can do and you don't care because your only thing is to dissolve. If you're on Karma, you do many things in the world, but you can do nothing with yourself. But Kriya yogis can do whatever they wish with themselves in terms of energy, and they can do a lot with the world also. So in terms of existing beyond enlightenment, Kriya Yoga is a very effective tool. If you're just seeking liberation, Kriya is not necessary because some Kriya is needed, but Kriya as a whole path is not necessary because it needs too much application. If you follow the path of Kriya without guidance, very intensely without guidance, it may take a few lifetimes to mature. If there is somebody alive who can do things with you, then yes, it can happen in this life. Otherwise, Kriya is a little roundabout way. But here you're not only seeking realization, you also want to know the mechanics of life-making. You want to know the engineering of how life is built, what to do about it. That's why it's a much longer process. I would be glad to see a few people around who can really pursue Kriyas. It would be a blessing for the ashram to have a few people who are like that, because they will bring a completely different quality. They will not be people that the general public will like. They will be considered too weird by modern educated people. I don't know if you have noticed this, when people who have been around me, they've definitely seen this in reality, but if you just look at my pictures, you will see at certain times it's a completely different person. Those pictures are different. All these smiling, laughing, polite pictures are one way. There are certain other moments when some people photographed me and they are very different. He's not the kind of person that you would like to banter with, gossip with, play with. You can't do anything with him. If you sit there, you don't know what the hell to do with yourself. But with this person, you can talk, you can play, you can do things, You can enjoy things in a different way. If we sit here as Kriya yogis, then most of you wouldn't dare to open your mouth and ask a question. That's how it'll be the situation.